All right, let's dive in. In the Indian state of Bihar, something really fascinating is happening. A sacred religious festival is underway, but this year it's smashing right into a high-stakes election. And what that's doing is turning a time of personal devotion into a fierce political battleground. So imagine this. In Bihar right now, the air is just thick with two completely different, powerful forces. On one hand, you have the deep religious devotion for Chhath, which is this huge cornerstone of the local culture. And on the other, you've got the intense, buzzing energy of a state election. And as we're about to see, these two worlds are not just coexisting, they're merging in some really unexpected ways. So first, what exactly is Chhath? Well, you can't really understand Bihar without understanding Chhath. It's this ancient festival dedicated to the sun god, and it's all about purity, discipline, and gratitude. But it's also a deeply, deeply personal time. It's when families come together, when people travel hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles just to be home. So what makes this year so different? It's this collision, right? You have this intensely personal, spiritual event for millions of people running headfirst into a very public, very loud, and very competitive state election. The result? The festival itself has basically become the new political arena. And here's the core of it all. Political parties are taking the most sacred, intimate parts of Chhath. We're talking the devotional songs, the traditional foods, that powerful, raw emotion of coming home, and they are weaving them directly into their campaign messages. But, and this is the key, they are doing it in completely opposite ways. So let's look at the first strategy. This comes from the ruling coalition, which includes the BJP and JDU parties. Their approach is overwhelmingly positive. It's all about connecting faith and progress. Their whole campaign is basically trying to reinforce this idea that their leaders aren't just politicians, you know? They're positioning them as guardians of both tradition and development. The goal is to create this seamless link in voters' minds between their religious devotion and their political loyalty. Now, check this out. This is a direct translation from a campaign song put out by the BJP. You see women singing this beautiful, devotional-sounding song, but the lyrics are explicitly merging a sacred vow, performing the Chhath rituals, with praise for their political leaders. It's a really powerful fusion of faith and politics, all in one song. The JDU party, meanwhile, went for a super modern approach. They started releasing AI-generated videos that connect government programs directly to the festival itself. I mean, it's a pretty striking example of using brand new, cutting-edge technology to deliver a very, very traditional message. Okay, so let's break this tactic down, because it's pretty clever. The video shows women making the koa, which is a traditional sweet for the festival. But as they're cooking, one of them mentions that the money they used to buy the ingredients actually came from a government employment scheme. The subtext is crystal clear. Our policies are empowering you to uphold your traditions. And then there's another AI video that really tugs at the heartstrings. It shows a son surprising his family by showing up for Chhath. And how did he get there? He tells them a special government bus service made the long journey home possible. See what they're doing? They're linking a government program directly to that powerful emotional theme of family reunion. Now, let's flip the coin and look at the other side. The opposition alliance, the Mahagathbandhan, they took a completely different path. Instead of celebrating, their entire focus was on the pain and the struggle that, for many people, comes with this festival. So their counter-narrative is all about a harsh reality for millions in Bihar. There just aren't enough local jobs, which forces people to migrate for work. And what this means is that coming home for Chhath isn't this simple, joyous thing. For many, it's a difficult, expensive, and stressful ordeal. And to really drive this point home, they use some incredibly powerful, almost visceral imagery. They started sharing photos and videos of what they nicknamed the Mazdoor Express, or the Workers' Express. These are just dangerously overcrowded trains, packed to the brim with migrant workers just trying to get back to their villages for the festival. And to make their case, they didn't use AI videos, they amplified the authentic voices of these workers. Just listen to this quote from a young man. He's a graduate, but he says there are decent no jobs for him in Bihar, so he's forced to work construction far from his family. It's just such a stark contrast to the ruling party's celebratory tone. And this next quote, wow, it makes the hardship even more real, more tangible. It speaks to the grueling physical reality of just trying to get home. The opposition is using these real stories to argue that the ruling party is completely out of touch with the struggles of everyday people. So this emotional tug of war, it's not just happening at rallies or in speeches. It is being fought, and fought intensely, on a totally new frontier: social media. This is where these two completely competing stories are clashing for every last vote. And when you lay it out like this, the divide just becomes crystal clear, doesn't it? On one side, you have the ruling coalition, the BJP and JDU, with their message of faith and development, using these slick devotional songs and AI videos. And on the other, you have the Mahagathbandhan, focusing entirely on migrant hardship, using raw, unfiltered social media videos of the Mazdoor Express. At the end of the day, both of these campaigns are making a direct appeal to voters' emotions. They're just aiming for completely different feelings. The ruling coalition, they want voters to feel gratitude, pride, and religious devotion. The opposition, they want them to feel empathy, maybe a little anger, and a real desire for economic change. And all of it, brings us to the central dilemma, the really big question at the heart of this entire situation. Using a popular festival to score political points isn't exactly a new idea. This has been happening for a long time. But what is new, what's different now, is the scale and the sheer sophistication of it all. With viral songs, AI-generated videos, and hyper-targeted social media campaigns, these messages are reaching people in a more powerful and personal way than ever before. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative question. By weaving Chhath so deeply into their campaigns, are these political parties actually celebrating and strengthening a cultural tradition? Or are they simply co-opting a sacred festival, turning it into just another tool for propaganda? It's a very blurry line, and it's one that the voters of Bihar are going to have to navigate.